Let me get the YouTube news out of the way quickly. StraightDope is back. I enjoy his stuff. He's a lot of guys call him a troll, whatever. He made a very good video on that subject, by the way, so check him out. StraightDope, he was banned for making expose videos, or, you know, calling people out on their shit, and he's a lot of fun. Actually, I think he's funny. I enjoy him. Very good video on trolls, StraightDope, man, and welcome back. So he's back. If you don't know who he is, you can check out my channel page and find him. Easy. StraightDope. Check out my channel page. He's one of the people I'm watching. Another person, EricSurf6. Let me say quickly, congratulations, EricSurf6. 1 million views on one of his videos. That's amazing. And he's just an average guy. He's a guy who's, I think, my age. Not as good looking, of course, but a lot less humbler, a lot more humbler, a lot more humbler than I am, and a really great video maker, and one of the top current view getter in Japan. And he just does trick videos if you want to, like, do a party trick or something, you know, and impress your friends with a little something, you know, fool somebody, just something for the kids or friends at a party. Go check out his channel. He's got a lot of cool vids up, and they're getting tons of views, so it's not just me. Today I want to talk about Holden Caulfield and how I was inspired again by This Day in the USA. Let me back up a little bit by something kind of sensational. A few days ago, he made a video, I don't remember when it was, but he talked about fireworks in Florida. I remember when I was visiting my cousins in Florida years and years ago that we bought nigger chasers. And, you know, being a kid, I didn't think anything of it because nigger chasers were just a derogatory word for blacks, but I didn't have any concept of the historical significance of the word nigger as compared to spics or crackers. For me, they were just all the same, just a different word to insult your buddies, right? And anyway, I probably had buried that memory completely until Davis Fleetwood mentioned it in his video. It just brought back this flood of memories, you know. And I was like, God, I'm so glad I saw the video. You know, I just remember my youth. I remember running around barefoot in the summertime in Florida, you know, lighting the little pill-shaped nigger chasers and watching them expand into snakes, and oh, that was so cool. The last 2 days I've been thinking about Holden Caulfield, actually. Catcher in the Rye, one of my favorite books, and probably, I like to think one of the books that has kind of formed my personality. They say, you know, your personality is formed at 7, but it can't be true. You know, I'm sure there's things you're still changing the way you are, you know. And one example, for me, I must have been 12 or so when my father, he's an immigrant. He is the American story. My father came to the States, a fairly poor man, and became he's the American dream. Being an immigrant, he was doing his best to Americanize himself, and one of the ways he did that was reading that rag, as some of you will say, the New York Times book review. And he picked books, you know, he just read, like, I think he got a list of the top 100 or whatever. They must have had a special, and it inspired him to buy a book for some reason called The Catcher in the Rye, which he bought and he read, and then he came up to my room and said, you know, handed me the burgundy cover, which I just noticed. Davis Fleetwood on This Day in the USA has made his page burgundy. I think I get it now. Anyway, he handed me the burgundy cover that had just type on it and said, read this. And I thought, that looks so boring. That looks like such a boring, it's such a boring title and such a boring book cover. Why would I read it? There's no pictures. I'm a kid. I want to read comic books and crap. But he came back a couple days. I still hadn't read it. I felt kind of, he was like, come on, you read it. Believe me, you're going to like this book. So I opened it up, and I wish I had a copy now. I don't, but I started reading it, and I couldn't put it down. I just couldn't put it down. And I must have read it, a dozen times before I was forced to read it again in high school. And I was, I already read this. Arrogant son of a bitch. But anyway, but even today, some of the things that Holden talks about, you know, I feel like they're part of me. I think Hemingway once said that a good writer says exactly what the reader is thinking in words that the reader can't express. And I guess that's what J.D. Salinger has done for all of us, a whole generation. Not just a whole generation. I think anyone who has ever been conflicted with the words, you know, nice to meet you. Because I know there's been dozens of times when I've gone up to people and I've been forced to say, hey, good to see you again, nice to meet you, wow, we'll get in touch, that kind of crap, you know, we'll do lunch, you know, that kind of crap. Well, I mean, Holden has taken over my body at times, and I've actually told people, no, I'm not going to shake your hand because you're an asshole. Just back away from the table. I mean, I've said shit like that to people in real life. And it's made everyone in the room uncomfortable. But I've walked away, you know, quite satisfied that Holden, with the Holden in me, you know. Really, I've just been like, yeah, you know, I'm glad I did that. I wasn't a fucking phony for once, you know, because I think it's true that to get by in life, you like Holden says in the book, you know, sometimes you got to say shit like that. But anyway, so one of the reasons I'm making this video is just because, yeah, I guess my mind on some subconscious level must have known that the date was coming, because I've been thinking about this, and then lo and behold, This Day in the USA, July 16th, makes a video talking about this, and it's another great video. So morons don't like it when you call them morons, so don't be a goddamn moron and stay unsubbed to this channel. This is a great channel. Go to This Day in the USA and sub, and you'll thank me. And I tell you what, if I'm wrong, you can unsub for me too, and call me a fag or whatever makes you guys happy. No, really, he's a great. They're just inspirational, and they're short videos. They're like 2 minutes each. So this guy deserves a lot more attention. And you'll be like, wow, I'm so glad I found this channel. It's so, wow, Anyway, for all the Holden Caulfields out there, this guy, I think he's a Holden Caulfield. That's I think the biggest compliment I could give anyone. From me, July 17th. In Japan, this is Give Me a Break Man Victor saying, thanks for watching, guys, and hope you all have a great July 17th. See ya.